What's going on, guys? It's Anthony, and welcome to week one. Now, week one begins tomorrow night with the Panthers going to Denver to start off the season, a Super Bowl rematch, and I'm pretty hyped up because football's back. And, I got my eagle up there. I got the little eagle right here with the eagle hat, because why not? You can see a Philly hat in the distance, like it even matters. But this is not about the Eagles. This is about the NFL in general. This is about everybody. And what a way to start off with a rematch of the Super Bowl, the Panthers and the Broncos. And this game could go back and forth, mainly because the Broncos aren't what they were offensively anymore. Mostly because they don't have anyone at quarterback that's as good as Peyton Manning was, as good as Brock Osweiler could have been if he had stayed there in Denver. So I predict the Panthers, regardless of their defense not being as good or their offense not being as good. I think the Panthers will pull off a win in the rematch tomorrow night at 8:30. It's going to be a good game either way, and I can't wait for it. Now, moving on to the Sunday games on September 11th, 2016, week one. The Vikings versus the Titans. Now, come on. I'm already going to have to start talking about Sam Bradford. I think if Sam Bradford is listed as the starter, the Vikings will win this game. But with or without Bradford, I think the Vikings will win this game in general. Because it's the Vikings. They're playing Tennessee. Tennessee, they're not that great. I'm expecting them to go 6-10. I'm not expecting anything more from them. 7-9 at best. At worst, most likely, it's another 3-13 season. That's just because they have a lot to do. They lost Green Beckham to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'll be honest, that's a big loss. He's only a second year, player. He's a young kid. He has a lot of potential. I don't get why they let him go. It's kind of crazy. So I think the Vikings will pull off a win there. Then we move on to Chicago at Tennessee. Chicago at Houston. Another NFC versus another crappy game. Mainly because these are two crappy teams that I don't like at all. I hate Texans, my bad. I hate the Texans. I don't like them as a franchise. Brock Osweiler, he's kind of a douche for, abandoning Denver, even though he was granted the starting job there. He went to Houston for the money. It's kind of ridiculous, but that's how the NFL is. It's all about money, not always all about the championships to some people. But I think Houston will pull off a win just simply because they're the better team. John Fox has a lot more to do than just go to Chicago to make himself a good coach, to make himself have a good team. Jay Cutler is struggling. We saw how bad he did last year. He did terrible. And you expect me to believe that he'll do any better this year? I don't think so. Cut the crap. Chicago will lose that game. Moving on to the Eagles and the Browns at the Link. I'm going to make my own video on this probably on Friday, which is the normal days I would make these videos, but due to the Super Bowl rematch, I decided to do this video today. But you'll see another Eagles video on Friday. But right now, I think the Eagles will win this game by a score of 27-17. Maybe 24-10. I don't know. Nothing too big because the offense hasn't been proven at all. We have a new starter coming in as Carson Wentz. I don't know what to expect. A lot of people don't know what to expect. But that is my prediction, and I hope I'm right because I don't want to see the Eagles lose to Cleveland of all teams. That would just hurt so bad if we lost to Cleveland. Moving on to the Buffalo Bills going to frickin' Baltimore. That's a pretty crappy game if I've ever seen one. It's not that it's crappy, it's just Baltimore kind of sucks. I think the Bills will pull off a win easily there. Baltimore's not what they used to be when they won the Super Bowl. That's the hard truth. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all you Raven fans. Nice stadium, by the way. Alright, we get Chicago. Why do I keep messing up these games? I'm sorry. We have San Diego at the Chiefs, an AFC West division rival match. And this is going to be a good game because Come on, a division rival is always a great match. You look at Eagles and Giants, Eagles and Cowboys. You look at Packers and Bears, Packers and Lions. It's always a good fight. Chargers and Chiefs, it's going to be a good game, and I think that the Chiefs will pull off a close win, mainly because the Chargers, it's not that they're terrible, they just can't finish a game. You know, they'll get some points, they'll pull up a fight, but they won't be able to finish the game. That's why I think Andy Reid will pull off a win there at Kansas City against the visiting Chargers. Moving on to the Oakland Raiders going down to New Orleans. That's a pretty good game, honestly, mainly because these are two teams that have been having rebuilding issues, but Oakland has gotten stronger. They've gotten better. AC/DC is a great combination. Their defense is getting stronger as the years have progressed. I think the Raiders will pull off a win in New Orleans. A very close game because Drew Brees, we know he can make plays happen. He didn't get the contract extension today for nothing, so I think the Raiders will pull off a close win. It could go either way. I would like to see that game, honestly. The Buccaneers and the Falcons, another division rival game. And to be honest, I see the Buccaneers winning this game. Mainly because the Falcons have really declined. I'm being completely honest with you. After seeing them go from 5-0 last year to 9-7 last year? That is not good. They had a great start to their season last year, and they went downhill so quickly, it wasn't even funny. Buccaneers are up and coming, to be completely honest. Jameis Winston's no joke. He's a pretty good quarterback. The running game with Doug Martin's strong. Mike Evans, that entire receiving corps is pretty scary, and their defense is a little suspect, but it can pull off some games. I think the Buccaneers will win a somewhat close game against the Falcons. The Bengals and the Jets. Now, this is one of the best games of Week 1 right here. Bengals and Jets, these were two playoff teams last year, at least playoff caliber. The Jets should have made the playoffs, at least a wild card spot, but they didn't. The Bengals did they win the division? I think they did, but they lost first round again. So, this game could go either way. I would love to see Cincinnati pull off a win just because I don't like the Jets. But the Jets could easily pull off a win. Ryan Fitzpatrick in that Jets offense is really good. That defense isn't that bad either. Todd Bowles really knows what he's doing when he makes that team aggressive. So I think it could go either way. I'd like to see the Bengals win, but I think the Jets are going to pull off a win. Packers go to Jacksonville. Is there any freaking... Is this a joke of a game? Packers, come on. Come on. Just come on, dude. Like, don't even. I don't even have to explain myself. Dolphins go into Seattle. That's another game that I don't have to explain myself. I don't know what to expect from the Dolphins now that Adam Gase is there. Seattle has been trying really hard to get back up to that 2012, what was it, 2013, 2014 Seahawks season when they won against Peyton Manning and blew them out in the Super Bowl. What was that, Super Bowl 48, I believe? I think the Seahawks will pull off a win, and I think that they're probably the best team in the NFL again. And I think they might go back to the Super Bowl. That's just an opinion on my part. You guys can think what you want. Now we have most likely America's game of the week, the New York Giants going to Dallas. This is like every single year's opening game for Dallas in New York. It's always New York going down to Dallas. Every year it's back and forth. Dallas pulled off wins the past 2 seasons. Didn't mean they did good. I mean, 2 years ago they did. Last year they did not so well. I don't know what to expect from either one of these teams. I've always predicted that the Giants wouldn't do so well. I've always predicted the Cowboys won't do too well, but the Giants would do a little better. I think the Cowboys would do better than the Giants, but then again, I don't know how good we're going to do. So I think that the Cowboys might win this game. It'll go back and forth, obviously. It's another one of those division rival games, guys. I'd like to see the Giants win just because I hate the Cowboys I just hate them. I hate both teams. Not equally. Well, almost equally. But I'd rather see the Cowboys lose at home to start off the year than to see the Giants lose on the road against the Cowboys. That's my opinion. If that game could go down as a tie, I'd be happy, honestly. All right, Lions and the Colts. That's another 4:25 game in Indianapolis. Chuck Pagano doesn't know what he's doing. The Colts looked all out of sorts when we played them on the dress rehearsal game back in week 3 of the preseason. I think Just because that happened, it doesn't mean the Lions are going to win. I think the Colts are going to pull off a close game. That's a pretty decent game considering where both teams stand. They're both not great teams, but they're not terrible teams. At least the Colts aren't terrible, but they're not good. So I think the Colts could pull off a win. Then we have a Sunday night game, which is actually a really good game. It's probably a Super Bowl kind of game. The Patriots going down to Arizona to play the Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals have always been mentioned in the Super Bowl talk. Oh, yeah, they have one of the best offenses. Their defense is super aggressive. And then you have Tom Brady, which he's not playing. He's suspended for 4 games this year, so he's not playing. We have another guy, a guy that they drafted last year. I forget his name. It's a pretty weird name, but he's coming in. This game could go either way, but I would love to see Patriots knock off the Cardinals. I hate both of these teams with a passion. The reason why I hate the Patriots is because they robbed us of a Super Bowl. The reason why I hate the Cardinals is because they robbed us of a Super Bowl as well. Back in, 2008, 2009 season, where we played them on Thanksgiving, destroyed them, came back and played them at Arizona in the NFC East Championship game to go play the Steelers, and we lost by 6 points. 31 to 25. If we had won that game, we would have beaten the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl of that specific year. That's my opinion, and I think we should have won that game. But we didn't, and they lose. They lost to Pittsburgh. We would have beaten them if we went there. So I want the Patriots to win. Which is kind of weird for me to say. Then again, I said that back 2 years ago, and I regret it. When the Patriots went back to the Super Bowl, I regret making that decision. I rooted for the Patriots. Start sending me hate. And then we have the 2 Monday night games. We have the Steelers going to the Redskins. That's a Steelers win, no doubt. I have a Super Bowl prediction that I now think is going to happen. Pittsburgh going to play Seattle. I think that's going to be the Super Bowl because both of these teams look scary good, and that's just my prediction. I think both of these teams have what it takes, and I think that the Steelers will obviously pull off a win against the Redskins. And then to end it all off, we have an NFC West showdown between the LA Rams, not St. Louis, the Los Angeles Rams going down to, Monte Clara, I believe it is, to play the 49ers of San Francisco. That's a pretty crappy game if I've ever seen one. I think the Rams will pull off a win. Then again, this is the first time we'll see a Chip Kelly offense in San Diego, so maybe they'll pull off a win. I mean, first games are always great for Chip Kelly. Look back at 2013 when we beat the Redskins at Washington in his debut. So those are my picks, guys. Those are all based off of my opinions, based off of certain facts that I know off the top of my head, certain things that have happened over the past few years. Tell me in the comments down below what you think about this week of football. Who do you think is going to win? Do you think some of my picks should be flipped around? Tell me why in the comments. Subscribe for more content. You'll see another Eagles video. You'll definitely start seeing some DC related videos and some Marvel related videos sometime this week. Mainly because I really need to catch up on what's happening with the Flash. So, not to mention I've been keeping up with Supergirl, so it's all going crazy. Next month is really when this channel starts to go crazy as well. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys had a great Wednesday, and I'll see you all later. Have a good day, guys.